enjoyed your training? Yeah! Have you all done something very useful that you can take to the wider world and be the difference? Yeah! Getting the hang of it, don't worry. Have you all been enjoying the guys on Links FM?
Yeah! One bonus point.
Yeah. Well done. I actually do a radio show at uni. Depressingly, they have more listeners than I do. It's me and my friend Matt, we do it. So, Sarah and Matt, S&M. We thought it'd be funny to call our show S&M. It's nothing about S&M. Quite frankly, we're both quite naive on the whole subject. But yeah, we thought it was hilarious at the time when we thought it up. But the longer we do it, the more we realise it was a really stupid idea. Especially when I had to tell my mum what it was called. And my mum is our most avid listener. She listens every week. She rings me afterwards to tell what she thought about it. So she rang me up and she was like, "Oh, have you got a radio?" Whoa! The microphone doesn't like this joke. Okay. So she rang me up and she's like, "Have you got a radio show this term?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And she was like, "Oh, what's it called?" Okay. I've been shunned to this side of the stage. Yes. There?
And you won't be in front of the speakers.
I don't really like it back here, but alright. Okay. And I forgot where I was now with the speaker thing. Yeah, my mum was ringing me up, and she was like, "Oh, what's the show called?" And I was like, "It's called S&M," which she took a bit too well. As in, I thought she'd be a bit like, "Oh, well, that's nice." But no, instead she decided to crack all these jokes that were vastly inappropriate. You don't want to hear your mum quote the Ann Summers website. Yeah, she seems to think I've got to this age where sex jokes about her sex life are totally fine, which it's not. I mean, over the summer, I was coming home and walked through the door and I was like, "Oh, hello, what have you two been up to?" And to her and my dad, she's like, "Oh, I've been having a rampant sex session all over the living room." I don't need to know this! She didn't find it quite as funny when I did it the other way round. I think that's disrespectful. But I know exactly where she gets it from. Every woman in my family has an incredibly dirty sense of humour, and I wish I didn't know that. But once I was talking to my auntie, and she was planning on renewing her vows, and she wanted a second hen do. I was like, fair enough, if I ever renew my vows, not by having it in the first place, but if I one day decide to renew them, then I probably would have a second hen do. But she wanted to go pole dancing, and I was like, yeah, alright, sounds fun. And then she was like, turned to my grandma and was like, would you like to go pole dancing with us? Do you reckon you can handle it? Which my grandma turned around and goes, "Of course I can handle it. I've stood up and down a pole many a time." Which is 10 times worse, for you know my granddad was Polish. Oh, it was horrible. But, yeah, basically, the older I get, the stranger my family seems to have become. The cat has even joined in this tradition. She basically decided that going to the toilet is a group activity, so she'll hear the bathroom door open, run up and sit there waiting for you to come in, which is quite disconcerting. I went over the week. But she's kind of fine, she just mills around the bathroom, but she's decided to start sitting on people's laps while they're trying to go to the thing. Get out. It doesn't help the process at all. And then we've also developed a few weird family traditions, like we go see a lot of ABBA tribute bands together, mostly because it's the only band we can all agree on. So we go to the local pub to see the local ABBA tribute band, and we go to National Trust properties when they put on ABBA tribute band concerts. I would say it's really embarrassing, but it's so much fun. It really is. And then there was talk of getting matching ABBA suits for us all, which I'm not against personally for me wearing, but there's I just don't need to see my whole family in flares and shiny lycra suits. I just think that'll take a relationship to a level it doesn't need to go to. And yeah, so we love an ABBA tribute band, so now all ABBA songs just remind me of my parents, which is kind of nice because we get played quite a bit. But it's weird how different songs remind you of different people. You know that song, I always forget the name, I think it's called Bad Touch, it's like, "You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel." I think that's the dance routine. And yeah, basically it really reminds me of my friend Chris. The first time I heard it, I was actually in the back of his car. Not doing that. The song has no relation to it. It's the first time I've ever heard it all the way through. In the same way, the song Sex Bomb really reminds me of my old childminder. Because we used to sing it in the car on the way to school because none of us understood what it really meant. And but hindsight is a beautiful thing of reminding you what an idiot you were in the past. Once I had to take my boyfriend to hospital. He's down there, he's still alive. And and because he had chest pain, so we took him to hospital. And I thought the whole process had gone very well, until the next morning, when I woke up, I kind of realised what we'd actually done. Because basically, he got his chest pains, we were on a bar crawl. So we were quite drunk, and both wearing bar crawl t-shirts. There's no way of disguising that we were absolutely pissed by the time we got to an A&E. And they don't really like drunk people. I don't think I've ever gone to A&E drunk, but you're not the favourite person. And then at one point in the waiting room, I fell off a chair. And then I went over to get a drink out of the vending machine and flushed the entire waiting room with my knickers. And then to top it all off, we had an argument in front of a nurse about whether he'd had a cold in the last 2 weeks or not. I still maintain the sniffles counts as a cold. Yeah, so that was quite embarrassing. And, oh, I completely forgot where I was going next with this. I'll just jump. And, okay. Oh yeah, weird illnesses, that's what I was talking about, hospital illnesses, you see where this is going. Basically, unfortunately, he does seem to bear the brunt of most injuries that occur in our relationship, because I have had a tendency to be quite a violent kisser. Not intentionally, I sometimes just go in a bit too fast. And, I actually chipped his front tooth. I say by accident, I was just branding him as mine. Like, that's just why it's any other girl in the future. But, yeah, and also, even illnesses I get, he seems to be on the receiving end of. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of a hypnic jerk, but about the time we were getting together, I developed this thing. And it's basically when you're falling asleep, and then all your arms and legs just flaring about, and you just wake up for no apparent reason until you just find yourself on the floor, woken up next to your bed, and you have no idea what's happened. So, of course, I googled it to find out, are you making dirty jokes between yourselves? Okay. So I googled it to find out what happened. And it turns out it's hypnic jerk, and it's basically when your brain confuses you falling asleep and relaxing with you dying, which isn't great, it's quite disconcerting. And basically, it's very, also, it's quite scary for you. It's really bad for you're trying to share a single bed with. And it's probably only so many times a guy can cope with being kneed in the balls while he's falling asleep, or it's like it's just not worth it anymore. But, and then I rang my dad, and I was like, oh, so I've got this thing called a hypnic jerk, quite embarrassing, quite annoying. He was like, oh, I developed that when I was your age. And I was like, oh, really? Did it clear up quite quickly? And I was like, yeah. But I've kept it up to keep your mother off my side of the bed. Which is very clever. He's such a joker though, my dad. I remember once, when I was very little, he took me to the opticians, and they had this big diagram on the wall. There's lights and circles and lines. I still don't know what it does. It's not the one with all the letters. I know what that one does. I can do that one really well. And I asked him, oh, what's this one for? He was like, oh, for testing the eyesight of blind people. I was 16 by the time I realised he was joking. I just thought, hang on. No. He's such a liar. But, well, not really, he's lovely. But in that case, little liar. He shouldn't joke to a 6-year-old. But, yeah, and then it's not the worst lie I've ever been told. The worst lie I've ever been told was definitely by romantic fiction. Because when I was younger, I was a bit of a hopeless romantic, and I used to read a lot of these books when I was younger. Well, obviously. And when I was older, or like that. And yeah, basically some of these books get rather raunchy. And I was reading one, and there's a line that really stuck out to me, and it's when basically a girl is giving a guy head for the first time, and she describes the taste as surprisingly nice. Now, I'm sure there's lots of people in the room who would agree with me that surprisingly nice is not the word that comes to mind when that is occurring. I think salty, but not in a good way, sums it up a bit better. But I can't imagine it would taste nice to anyone on, even the gingerbread man. But, I'm done. Thank you all for being a very nice and attentive audience, because the last time I tried to do stand-up, I was at, well, Birmingham Uni has a thing called Veil Fest every year. It's a student-run festival, and they put me on at the same time as this a cappella band called the Sons of Pictures that is very, very famous. Yeah, they're loving it. And basically, so we're in the comedy tent, the last guy finishes his set, you know. And next up is Sarah Foulkes, and the entire audience stands up and just walks out the door. Thanks for coming, guys. So just me and all the St. John people. So thank you very much for staying for the set and not leaving me to watch an a cappella band. I'm never going to forgive them. So thank you very much. You have been wonderful, and I've been Sarah Foulkes.